Today is a fascinating day, and I said this in the open having you on. It's really a very decisive day for folks, and here it is. I'll give it to you in a nutshell. The market's been very good to people who have invested in the last 14 months. Most of them, unless they just don't know what they're doing, have made some money. Okay? Now, we know that. A lot of them have now waited a year so they can sell. It's also January, which means they have the longest time they can wait to pay Uncle Sam. So this is a good time to think of selling if you haven't sold. Now, you've had the market dig in the last 3 sessions, 6-7% maybe into your portfolio if you were buying the things that have been hot. What should they do? Should they ride it out, even if it's another 6, 7, 8% to the downside? Is that the smart move, or is it take your profits off, or is it halfway it? You're the coach. What should the folks do?
Well, I'm going to go with a halfway it for some of the people who have these huge gains, because when you look at the stocks that are going down today, they are the ones that have been up. They
the
are
big riders,
right? So this is the worst day we've had since 2000, worst 3-day period since 2011. So we're always going to go against greed.
And most of these stocks are doubles, most of them, or triples,
And I'm looking at a stock like Gilead, which stock I like. I started writing the book 2 years ago, Mike, and Gilead was at 50. The book comes out, it's at 80.
3D Systems, a perfect example. I mean, killer,
3D Systems. I looked at it this weekend. I said, oh, my, that is just the guy.
It's 30 to
all
95.
The hot money. The hot money is on that. We know, Mike, that the hot money can often be wrong at the inflection point. Let these come in. You can always buy them back. There's no sin to buying them back.
Gotcha. So you think not sell out, but take some of your profits off the table, and then wait the rest of it out.
Yeah,
because you buy back at a favorable price.
Exactly, because what's happened is that there's some people, I don't want to call them lightweights or whatever, but they're not people who are pros, so to speak. They're people who come in and say, you know what, I like the momentum. The momentum comes down. We always can analogize to sports. There's someone who likes the hot team, and they think, you know what, Chargers. And then it turns out, like, well, the Chargers don't really have the horses. But there are other companies that are just tried and true, and you have to back them in this kind of sell-off.
And right now, I mean, everybody has been, if you watch those shows, and I watch them every day, if you watch the shows, they have been predicting there's going to be a correction. You've all said that. All you pros have said that. Can you see if this is finally that correction that you've been waiting for, or will this whiplash back in 3 days?
No, I think it is. I think it's going to take some time to settle. One of the things that I do, for instance, let's take a stock that everyone is watching, and I know we're here for sports.
Go ahead. This is interesting.
There's an Alcoa. Okay, now Alcoa went from 8 to 12. So then I want to talk about Alcoa. I said, look, you got to buy it on a pullback. So, Mike, now we get the pullback. The people who are not rigorous about their thinking say, oh, well, now we need an even bigger pullback. I see the pullback. I said, look, I promised you that this is where I'd like it. I can't back away now. And that's what I'm going to do with the Googles. That's what I'll do even with the Facebooks.
And long term, you still like these companies a lot, right? You're just looking for entry points, right?
Yeah, look, I mean, America's very strong, and we're the strongest country. I'm not being, look, we're all patriotic, but we're in a very sound place. And the only thing that really worries me is, periodically you get some weakness in China. But, people are worried about these emerging markets. I mean, I was looking up. I had to go Google how many people live in Argentina, because that thing's down real big. Hey, there's 40 million. But, there's 110 million in Mexico. Mexico's doing well.
Do we let – I know you kind of have this philosophy. We let these – outside influences influence the market too much, right?
Yes.
I mean, even China, right? Or do you have to consider China because they have so many people, such a big part of
You
business?
do. I mean, I made a mistake in 2011. Initially, I dismissed Europe because there's 700 million people there, and I started thinking, I said, well, that's a lot of countries, a lot of places that could do badly. China, 1.3 billion. I mean, look, let's take candy, okay? Our candy companies have moved in aggressively there. Now, do you really think that if growth drops from 7.8 to 7.2, people are going to stop eating M&Ms? That's not the way it works. They're not going to stop using Kleenex. They're not going to stop using Head and Shoulders. So you can't back away and say, well, the Chinese are going to stay away from products like M&Ms.
No, you make it, and the book, because I give the book a pop, because I've already read it.
You're terrific.
And the book is great, because you know what? First of all, I like to invest. So, and I find these guys fascinating. It's a hobby of mine. And I love to follow these guys. And Jim's, is one of the, he's one of the 4 horsemen of this stuff. So the book is is you'll learn, a lot, and you tell them that, there's a tier structure to this. Certain companies are more prominent as the economy does certain things. Because you get back to staples, you'll get back to things people are going to use no matter what, and the stuff that maybe is at the top is the stuff that you don't need as much.
Right. I mean,
it's common sense.
Yeah. I mean, look, I got up this morning. I'm saying, okay, the Colgate. I brush my teeth with Colgate. I use Gillette. Right. That's Procter & Gamble. Right. I do not cut back on those. Now, I have shopped at Costco since the Great Recession because I don't like to pay the full price for the big paper towels.
Right.
But that's an American thing. Now we've all gotten more frugal, as you know. That's something everyone's a little embarrassed about, spending too much money these days.
That's a great thing. And I tell you this, and the book is Get Rich Carefully from Jim Cramer, and really is, I'm telling you, if it's something you're going to dabble in, you should read before you do it.